Hello guys, my name is Prabhanshu Kumar Sharma and now I'm going to start the critical evaluation of the state of the art of hypothesis testing in the social science. As we move to the first point, the prevalence and ramification of null hypothesis significant testing in quantitative empirical studies across various social science disciplines are critically evaluated in the article titled The State of Art of Hypothesis Testing in the Social Science by Van White, Loosgin, and Van Houston. The author draw attention to NHST's continued dominance in the face of growing criticism and proposal for the other approaches. The study provides insight into the state hypothesis testing techniques by reviewing 148 publications from 18 prestigious journals across 6 well-known social science areas. As we move to the other slide, key findings in the surveyed field of business, economics, political science, psychology, public administration, and sociology. The authors note that the NHSTs continues to be the dominating method, although there are indications that NHST may need to be changed. The substitutes frequently used just serve to cover up the continuous use of NHST. Despite the complaint and cries for reform, the author observed that statistical procedures have not changed significantly. They point out a few publications that present potential alternatives, such switching from statistical significance to estimation precision, treating moderation more strictly and theoretically structuring null hypothesis. Now we're moving to summary of subheading. The first point is discussion of past critiques. The article discussion previous criticism of NHST in the social science and drawn attention to the current wave of criticism, which include the 2016 statement by the American Statistical Association and following academic attacks on NHST. Research questions. According to the author, there are three key research questions. How frequently NHST is used. The second question is how many hypotheses are tested in the article. And the third one is how much evidence there is for the hypotheses that are examined. NHST's prevalence. The study shows that NHST continues to be the predominant strategy across all assessed fields, and writers routinely use NHST without sound theoretical foundation. Surface level changes. The author contend that while certain disciplines exhibit symptoms of realization the need for the change, the alternative frequently preserve NHSTs a core principle. This is especially true in the field of economic, where the transition from NHST has been regarded as shallow and devoid of any methodological change. Promising practices. The author point up a few instances of research that differ from the standard NHST's design. Notably, some research enhance the theoretical framing of null hypothesis, while others make terminological adjustment. Hope for the progress. The author are upbeat about the likelihood at that method for evaluating hypotheses which evolve. They contend that a more significant break from NHST may result from the progressive acceptance of the other strategies, such as comparative competing hypothesis testing. Now, critical assessment. While the article discussed NHST's preservedness in the social science and identifies encouraging change in some practice, there are a number of areas that should have been covered or built upon more fully. First is methodology and sampling. A thorough discussion of the approach used to choose and evaluate the 148 article is missing from the publication. For methodology openness, the same criteria, article selection procedure, and technique used for determining the prevalence of NHST and alternative treatment should all be openly stated. Theoretical framing of alternatives. Although the article briefly covers certain research that present promising NHST substitute, it does not go into detail into the theoretical underpinning or application of these substitutes. The critical evaluation might be strengthened by more explanation how these alternative techniques lead to more reliable hypothesis testing. Barriers to change. The essay mentioned the hesitation to depart from NHST procedure because of editorial and reviewer preference. However, a more thorough investigation of the institutional and cultural element that support NHST dominance might offer new insight into difficulties that research trying to use alternative method must overcome. Comparative competing hypothesis testing. The article discusses the implementation of a competing hypothesis testing strategy, but it does not explain it in detail or explain how it differs from NHST. The case for the change would be strengthened if this method and its advantages were covered in great deal. Conclusion. The article, The State of Art of Hypothesis Testing in the Social Science, conclude by highlighting NHST's continuity dominance in a variety of fields and pointing instance of potential alternative methods. However, a more thorough description of the methodology, a deeper investigation of resistance to change, and a clearer discussion of alternative approach would improve the critical assessment and offer a more thorough roadmap for future social research procedures. Now, the critical evaluation of research design and method in factor influencing acceptance of augmented reality in retail. Insight from thematic analysis. Paranagari and Chakrabarti essay from 2020 factor influencing acceptance of augmentation reality in retail. Insight from thematic analysis explore how augmentation reality has affected the retail sector. In order to evaluate the characteristic influencing the acceptance of AR technology in retail contexts, the study uses theme analysis on variable examined in prior work, with an emphasis on research paradigms, philosophy, reasoning approach, and the chosen research strategy. This essay reviews the study design methodology employed in the paper critically. Summary of subheading. First, purpose and design methodology approach. The author goal is to understand how AR affect retail by thematically analyzing data from earlier studies. The data set for the study was compiled using precise research and inclusion criteria, and it consists of 232 variables from 32 research articles to find pattern in data. Thematical analysis is used. 8 themes are found and arranged into the conceptual framework that models how the technology acceptance model affect user decision making. Finding eight recurrent themes are identified by the thematic analysis and they organized in the conceptual framework. The dominating variable type within each to determine where it placed using the technology acceptance model as a guide. The paradigm offer perception into user choices for implementing augment retail in the reality in the retail. Practical implication. AR should be concluded into market experience marketing plans. It is urged. Organizations are advised to leverage pre-existence toolkit or work with the tech companies on development as AR integration calls for expertise. Originality value. To set itself apart from the previous studies, this one only takes into account research that examines customer behavior in relationship to augmentation reality in retail. The study originally come from this novel method pattern recognition that use the ideas framework as the categorization grounds. Critical assessment. Research paradigm and philosophy. Neither the article philosophy perspective nor underlying research paradigm are specially mentioned. Clarifying these points might aid reader in the understanding the fundamental viewpoint and potential biases of the research. Sample strategy and data collection. The article briefly discussed the size of the data collection and the inclusion criteria, but it is silent on the sample method that was employed to choose the 35 research application. The study capacity to be replicated and the conclusion external validity would be both strengthened by the detailed description of the sampling procedure. Research generalizability. Although the study recognized generalizability constraint, it should have highlighted potential biases brought about by the emphasis of the statistical method and immerse technology. A more thorough analysis of various research methodologies may have produced a more comprehensive picture of AR acceptability in retail. Now we have the conclusion. The study by the Paranagri and Chakrabarti in 2020 uses the theme analysis to offer important insight into the element impacting AR uptake in retail. However, by explicitly addressing the research paradigm, the philosophy, defending the reasonable technique, giving additional information regarding sampling, and giving more thorough explanation of framework construction, the study may have been enhanced. The rigor of the article's methodology and the breadth of its conclusion would be improved by addressing the issues. And these are the references. Thank you.